to tell you a story about a photographer in Croatia named Lana Polic. I had this amazing, incredible opportunity to mentor her, and I took it 100% because rarely do I find someone so dedicated and so disciplined to learn photography that it was just an eye-opening experience for me. Even though the town that she lives in doesn't have the greatest resources for learning photography, she took it upon herself to set up shop wherever she could and make every part of her home into a studio to do self-portraits. That way she can actually have no excuse and learn lighting, flashes, posing, composition, retouching, strobes, camera settings, you name it, she learned it at an incredible high level too. So even though this photographer lives in Croatia, I decided to pack my bags, and as soon as everything laid in place, I was on my way.
For me to send my image to one of the best teachers in the world, and he's a part of the small group of the best photographers, and that's the Canon Explorer of Light. I think that's the wish for everyone, to be Canon Explorer of Light. And so I decided to send to him to see at what level my photography is.
But to my surprise, this portrait wasn't even a photo that she took of someone else. It was actually a self-portrait. It was a photo of herself. So all of these elements that you see, it looked like a whole production. It looked like a whole team took to take these pictures. From the lighting, to how sharp her eyes were, to the execution, to the gels, to everything she was doing. It looked like an entire team was involved, but it was just her. Naturally, I had to reach out and ask her, what inspires her to go through so much work?
During that time, I developed idea to have a mentor who will guide me through my development. So I asked Roberto to be my mentor, and here we are.
She said, I am determined to learn photography no matter what. I have the biggest passion for this that I have ever felt, and I am determined, I am going to be relentless to learn this no matter what it takes. If I live in a place that doesn't have as many photography opportunities or stores or models or whatever, it didn't matter to her. She was going to learn it anyway. So instead of having to deal with hiring models or bothering family members to pose in front of the camera, she just posed herself and practiced every lighting technique she could come across.
Well, on the first day, we started with Emma. Emma is a model whom I already worked for a couple of times. And Roberto started explaining me posing techniques. So he started explaining 3-point check combinations, how to pose hands, arms, shoulders, chin, spine, how to bring energy into the pose. So after learning, it was my time to implement all the things I learned. And I have to admit, it was very nerve-wracking because I have to do it right after teaching in front of Roberto. But it was quite amazing experience because I could see right there and then how everything comes to life. So thank you, Roberto.
Everything you can imagine in a small time frame, we did it. Even though it was intense, we got a lot done. The photos that Lana was able to get as soon as we finished that little section were truly remarkable. The second part of the first day was planned to increase the complexity of the photo shoot to push Lana even further. So this time we had 2 models, and we were going to do a fashion shoot on location this time with 2 subjects instead of just 1. That adds quite a bit of complexity because when you're dealing with one person, the other person could be doing something that you did not expect, and it could potentially mess up your photograph.
So we worked a lot on our poses. We worked distance apart, contact between 2 models, adding movements, laying down. So these were all the poses we were working on, but the most interesting thing and the thing that impressed me was the fact that we didn't go for the obvious poses and obvious angles. We looked for the obvious, but we tried to make it into something different. And I was blown away by the results.
That was the end of the first day and we only had one day to go?
On the second day, I was in a role of model, and I have to admit I was very nervous because this was my first time ever standing in front of the lens of a photographer who is on top of his field and surrounded by a team of people. But I was very much interested in how photographers approach the shoot, how they lead a team of people, how they direct models, how they pose them, how they work with the light available. These are all details that later I want to implement in my approach and in my photography.
Later that afternoon, I asked Lana if she wouldn't mind showing us her process for self-portraits.
So I set my lights, connected my camera and my trigger, put in front of me the split screen where I can see on one side position where I'm in the frame and the instant result. So music started and I started to pose, pressing a trigger.
It was so cool and so fun to see her in action in her own studio. That was really fun for me and very informative to the fact that when you really want to learn something, there is nothing that can stop you. You can just do whatever it takes. You have yourself and that's all you need. You do not need to have models, you do not need to have a team. If there is a desire, there is a will, there is a way. Right? So they say. So I taught Lana, as the final thing I can teach her, how to print her own photos using her Canon Pro 1000, how to choose paper, how to create a profile, how to manipulate the photos in Photoshop in order to maximize detail, blacks, colors, and dynamic range in a print. The expression that she had in her face when she saw the photo come out, where the photo in the paper matched exactly what the monitor looked like, was worth every penny.
It's interesting how much beauty can come into this print if you only know what to do. So this passion for print, Roberto imparted on me, and I'm very grateful for that. And I'm looking forward to all of my future prints now.
As I was on the plane flying back home, I was so thankful for this opportunity, so thankful. Lana, thank you so much to you and to Robert for allowing me into your home and allowing me to mentor you and to spend time with you and to teach you and for all the planning that all of us did to make this happen.
We escorted Roberto early in the morning and it was an amazing experience, and I think I gained a lot of knowledge in these 2 days. I find this amazing opportunity and I'm very grateful and thankful for it.
I cannot wait to see how many people you touch, how many people you inspire, because as much as you inspired me, this is just the beginning. You're going to inspire people all over the world because of your dedication and your love for photography. So I'm looking forward to it. Until next time.
Thank you, Roberto, and thank you, Canon.